WXII 12 News at 6 starts right now.
A remarkable recovery the strides a Virginia councilman is making just months after a violent attack.
People call out because they physically cannot come to work because they don't have the financial means to continue to go to work.
The shutdown showdown in Washington impacting air travel around the United States, why airports are feeling the strain and how your travel plans could be interrupted.
American roots music has its own language, its own harmony, its own tradition.
Plus, a first of its kind music program is being created in the Triad, why a local university is bringing the traditional sounds of our state to its classrooms. Good morning, and thank you all so much for waking up with us. I'm Adrianna Hargrove, joined by meteorologist Dave Aiken. Dave, I gotta say, the leaves are now starting to fall, and it's starting to feel like fall out there, but it is a tad bit cool and chilly in the mornings, I'm starting to notice.
Yeah, I got the clouds out there this morning, Adriana, and those winds, they pick up as we go on into already this morning and this afternoon, may drop some of those leaves before they have a chance to change in some spots. You see the radar here, you see the rains, and the heaviest of those over South Carolina at the moment from Columbia back down to the south, and then more scattered activity across the state at the moment as well. You can see this low that's kind of spinning right here just offshore of the North Carolina, South Carolina border. You can kind of see that spinning here, and it's bringing in some showers over portions of the Piedmont right now. Some of this is reaching the ground, some of it isn't. There's still some pretty dry air that's overcoming some of this shower activity, but as we go through the afternoon, you'll see these rounds and periods of rain showers as we go on in through the day today, especially in the Piedmont and back out to our east as well and down to the south too. This is going to be about 2 o'clock this afternoon. You see how the rains are a little off and on across the region. Then as we get on into the evening hours, things should start to dry up, and we'll probably start to clear out as we get into the overnight. So we've got kind of a damp, windy day ahead for you. Temperature is not much of an issue, in the 60s at the moment, but the winds out of the north 10 to 15 miles per hour. We've seen wind gusts as high as 18 to 25 miles per hour across portions of the area this morning as well. Today, periods of rain, some gusty winds at times, mid 60s for highs. Less of a shower chance as you get off to the west, a little bit less there. And coming up, we're going to talk about our showery, cool, windy Sunday, the Monday morning bus stop forecast, and dry and warmer temperatures next week that I think you'll like. We'll discuss it all in just a little bit, Adriana.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Dave. Now, we're following breaking news this morning in Greensboro. Police tell us they're investigating multiple aggravated assaults on South Elm Street. Now, officers responded to the 600 block of the busy Gate City roadway. One victim was found at the scene near Gate City Boulevard. They've since been transported to the hospital for treatment. No word is on their condition or a suspect. Now, authorities are also investigating at the 500 block of South Elm Street near South Davie Street. Police did not share specifics on how many people were hurt, but were told at least one person was transported from that scene as well. GPD did not say if these incidents were related, but we have reached out for more information and will update you on air and online as soon as we know more. Well, we're following a developing story in Mississippi. Police say at least 8 people are dead and 20 others are hurt after several shootings broke out. The first one happened in Leland following the town's homecoming game Friday night. 6 people were killed and 10 others were injured. The victims ranging from ages 18 to 41. Now, officials have arrested an 18-year-old in connection to a separate shooting that killed 2 people, including a pregnant woman. Authorities arrested 2 others in connection to a third shooting at another school. There's been no word on if anyone was hurt in that case. And in South Carolina, Lander University police confirmed there was a shooting near campus yesterday. In an email sent to students, the school says it happened in the area of West Cambridge and Durst Avenue. It's unclear if anyone was hurt or if police have made any arrests. Well, we're learning more about a deadly blast at an explosives plant in Tennessee. Police say no survivors have been found after the explosion at Accurate Energetic Systems on Friday. At least 18 people are still unaccounted for, and officials are leaning on DNA technology to identify those victims. Investigators say it could take several days or even weeks to figure out what caused the deadly blast. Danville City Councilman Lee Vogler is now walking and climbing stairs as he continues to recover after being set on fire earlier this year. Now, that's according to an update shared by his wife, Blair. She also shared her husband moved out of the ICU last week, months earlier than expected. Vogler was set on fire outside his office on July 30th. Shotzi Buck Hayes is accused of attacking the councilman. He's charged with attempted first-degree murder. Court testimony revealed that Buck Hayes told investigators he intended to kill Vogler over an affair with his wife. In national news, President Trump plans a fly to Israel later today in hopes of finalizing the U.S.-mediated ceasefire deal in the Middle East. We're taking a live look now at the Western Wall in Jerusalem, where thousands continue to gather in celebration of continued path to peace. Now, on Monday, President Trump plans to co-chair a peace summit alongside Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. Leaders from 20 nations, including Britain and France, are expected to attend that event with the hope that a new phase of peace and stability will be established in the region. Stay tuned, because in our next half hour, Washington correspondent Jackie DeFusco will break down the president's plans for his trip to Israel. Well, today marks the day 12 of the federal government shutdown. While most employees are forced to go without pay, President Trump says there's money in the budget to pay U.S. troops this week. Service members are expected to get those checks on Wednesday. It's not clear if they'll continue to be paid afterwards. Now, nearly 1.4 million federal employees have either been furloughed or are working without pay due to the shutdown, and effects are being felt for air travel as well. Now, many airports are facing staff shortages right now, while air traffic controllers and TSA agents are required to show up for work. One expert says many just can't afford to do so.
People call out because they physically cannot come to work because they don't have the financial means to continue to go to work.
Now, the FAA 12 air traffic control facilities were short-staffed on Friday, and while officials say it's safe to fly, some flights may be delayed or even canceled as a result of the staffing issues. Now, here at home, things are fortunately looking quiet this morning. According to the flight tracker FlightAware, Raleigh-Durham International Airport is reporting 1 delay and 2 cancellations. Charlotte Douglas is seeing 5 delays and just 1 cancellation. And Greensboro PTI is reporting no delays or cancellations. In Commitment 2025 news, Guilford County officials say the recount for the Greensboro City Council primary race is complete. County Elections Director Charlie Collicutt tells us candidates have a right to a recount when the race is close. And while the final result did not change, he says the process as a whole helps build trust in the community.
It's really nice for our system of transparency for people to see how this back-end process works, to see that these are very close races sometimes. And we do these processes, recounting, hand counting ballots, and it's still the same result at the end of the day.
Now, Collicutt adds both a machine and hand ballot recount confirmed the original result. T. Diane Bellamy Small secured the 6th spot to advance to the next month's general election. Just 50 votes separated her and Carla Franklin. Looking ahead in our state, every courthouse across North Carolina is going digital starting tomorrow. Now, that's when eCourts is launching in the 13 counties shaded in orange right there on your screen. Now, that includes both Davidson and Davie counties. These counties will join the rest of the state on the new system, which can be accessed online. And for Forsyth County now, a first-of-its-kind music program is soon coming to Winston-Salem. UNC School of the Arts is launching the American Roots Music Institute for students to learn and create the tunes unique to our region. WXII 12's Kelly Kendall shows us how the new program will connect students to North Carolina's rich heritage.
It's often string music, banjo, fiddle, mandolin, guitar.
Those are some of the sounds found in American roots music. Winston-Salem singer-songwriter Martha Bassett is a part of bringing those traditional sounds to UNC School of the Arts and its new American Roots Music Institute.
This type of music, particularly blues, old-time, bluegrass, that has been an oral tradition. It's community music, and learning it from people in your community will flavor the way you make that music.
The new institute will be a part of the university's School of Music and is being backed by a historic $10 million gift. The school's dean, Saxton Rose, says the institute will offer distinct training and learning from the school's classical music offerings, resulting in a one-of-a-kind program.
North Carolina is the birthplace of so much of this music. There's such incredible history and tradition here, but also a really thriving community of young artists too. And so we want to be the place where those folks can come and study and learn those traditions and go out into the world and make terrific music.
The undergraduate major is expected to launch in 2028, but a minor and high school offerings are launching in the fall of 2026.
Students will have a focus on their particular instrument, but music is music. And if you want to, let's say you're a classical violinist and you want to learn some fiddle tunes, why not do that?
In Winston-Salem, I'm Kelly Kendall for WXII 12 News.
How awesome. Now you can learn more about the Institute and how to apply when it launches by visiting WXII12.com. The Carolina Classic Fair comes to a close today in Winston-Salem this weekend. Our crew spoke to organizers who say there are several can't-miss events like Twiggy the Water Skiing Squirrel, which is happening at 3 to 6 or 8 p.m. 3, 6, or 8 p.m., as well as the Last Rodeo, which is happening at the U.S. Army Grandstand at 7 p.m. Well, it's football Sunday, and the Panthers are back in action. Everything you need to know about their Week 6 matchup up next. But first, severe weather striking the Atlantic coast, what's leading to the dangerous flooding, and how we may be impacted. Welcome back. The time now is 6:14. Here are just a few of the top headlines we're tracking around the Tar Heel State this morning. Now, Charlotte-Mecklenburg police have identified the person who was found dead in the landing gear of an American Airlines flight last month. Authorities say 25-year-old Jose Santiz stowed away on the plane, which had arrived from Europe shortly before he was found. Now, the State Bureau of Investigation is working to determine exactly what led to his death. In Columbus County, more than 1,000 smoke alarms were given to 20 local fire departments so they can be installed in homes. Now, this initiative, which is led by Kid Fire Safety and the American Red Cross, comes just 2 months after 4 children lost their lives in a tragic house fire. According to the state fire marshal, around 120 North Carolinians die in fires every single year. The race for North Carolina's soon-to-be vacant seat is heating up. The 2 main candidates, Roy Cooper and Michael Whatley, say they both raised millions of dollars in the hotly contested race. According to their campaigns, Cooper has raised $14.5 million, while Whatley has raised nearly $6 million. Neither candidate has filed their fundraising reports with the Federal Election Commission, so it's not clear who their biggest donors are. Well, right now we're tracking a weather system that's brewing in the Atlantic that could cause some dangerous flooding, especially at the coast. You're looking at a video from Charleston and Garden City in South Carolina, where unusually high tide is causing beaches and roads to flood. You can also see the waves crashing up against homes in Charleston, while entire roadways are covered in water in Garden City. Yeah, it seems like we're still sort of in the middle of, tropical storm season, hurricane season, excuse me, Dave. So, what's going on right there? How's it going to, how's all that going to even affect us here in the Triad?
Well, I can tell you, Adrianna, I mean, this low that's moving up the coast is non-tropical in nature. It's an area of low pressure that has developed over the past day and a half or so. And you can see the low kind of spinning down here with the clouds. You can see the rains associated with it, especially down over portions of South Carolina. And that's why some of that flooding is down towards areas of Charleston, between there and Garden City, and then on up even into portions of Myrtle Beach. And you can see the showers a little bit more sporadic, a little more patchy across the Piedmont and eastern North Carolina at the moment. We don't expect very high rainfall totals, but you will see some periods of rain off and on as we go through the day today. Down over eastern North Carolina, better chance for some rain as that low moves up the coast later on. There are some flood advisories, some flood watches in effect, and some areas that could see some decent rains down here, that they could see some rains really come into play through Monday morning, up to 12-foot breaking waves with dangerous rip currents down along the coast. The Outer Banks could see a decent amount of water kind of come ashore, where you get some of that coastal inundation and, of course, rip currents out there, and some beach erosion, which has been a big issue down along the Outer Banks this season so far, since about June or so, with some of the storms that have moved up that way. They've seen some decent winds down there too, 51-mile-per-hour wind gusts down around Atlantic Beach and Beaufort, and also out to Cape Hatteras, 43-mile-per-hour wind gusts across that region too. Estimated rainfall total so far just offshore, and then down over portions of coastal and Midlands of South Carolina earlier on. A lot of that rain will start to move up the coast and over northeastern parts of North Carolina. We'll see a little bit more rain as we go on into later today. You can see the rains here and how they start to come into play. And then as we get past about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they start to diminish a little bit. The clouds will stick around today. Then as we get into the overnight, the clouds will clear out a little bit more by tomorrow morning. And then as we get into the day tomorrow, we should see some sunshine in play and get our temperatures into the mid-70s. The clouds and some of the showers stay in place down over eastern parts of the state as we get into Monday afternoon. Again, we don't expect a whole lot of rainfall totals, maybe a tenth, perhaps a quarter of an inch in some spots, but most of the rains will be held down over eastern parts of the state and into South Carolina as we get on in towards tomorrow morning. Temperatures not much of an issue out there. They're in the upper 50s to around 60. It is chilly in the mountains where they've had more in the way of some clear skies. 48 at Boone right now. Wind speeds have been up out of the north to northeast, 10-15 miles per hour sustained, and some of the wind gusts have come up too. 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts so far this morning reported back out over Winston-Salem into Burlington, Reedsville. Seen some decent wind gusts, so you'll see those come and go through the day too. Still, air starting to get a little bit more moist, especially down east. They'll get into the 60s probably a little bit later on this afternoon as that rain falls and kind of moistens up that column of air in the atmosphere. So gusty triad winds today. Periods of scattered showers and drizzle will clear overnight tonight. Here's the low. It will move up the east coast and along eastern parts of North Carolina. Here's the dry air that will move in tomorrow. Cold front way out west will move through as we get into the middle part of the week, but we don't expect expect a lot of rainfall from that at all. Here we are for later today. Temperatures into the mid-60s or so. Lesser chance for showers back out into the foothills and into the mountains later on today. They'll get into the low 60s this afternoon. At the bus stop tomorrow should be dry. Temperatures into the 50s across the region and partly cloudy to mostly clear skies. If you're headed to the Panthers game today, periods of showers and some gusty winds at times, so you'll need the poncho and the rain gear out there a little bit later on. Tracking the tropics, we're watching one little area that's developed just south of the Cabo Verde Islands, and we could see a tropical depression develop with that a little bit later on this week. The models keep it well out to sea as we get on into the upcoming weeks. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that one, so we'll keep an eye on that for you, and you can keep along with us at WXI12.com. Here's the showers this morning and through the day today. Windy 65. Then we dry out. Really, the rest of this week looks good, y'all. Temperatures into the 70s all week long, and overnight lows not that cold either.
Dave, thank you. Looking ahead, we are teaming up with Second Harvest for our next food drive this week. On Wednesday, we will be collecting non-perishable food and monetary donations at the Food Lion on West Cooksey Drive in Thomasville. I will be out there in the morning and Kara Peters will take over in the afternoon. If you can't make it out, you can also donate online at WXII12.com. What to watch? Coming up, our Dale Pollack joins us, and he's sharing his top picks for some weekend flicks, the movie he says caught him by surprise. Plus, saying goodbye to a Hollywood icon, a look at the life and legacy of Diane Keaton next.